Another one that comes to mind, it's not I don't know that there is some standards out there I know, but it's around shelf life,
Mhm.
or the life expectancy of a material. I was gonna see if you could share some of your knowledge around that and those the different requirements that we often see.
Yeah, so shelf life, it's kind of interesting because of how it came about,
Mhm,
right? Um, the original shelf life standard was created for the military,
mhm,
right? They were putting on these seals in the field, and they wanted to make sure that it was working, operations, and it was like, well, how long can we keep it stored? And I'm not exactly sure how much research went involved into that decision making because I think at first they were like, "Oh, yeah, you can save it for." I think it was maybe like 3 years. That was the shelf life,
uh-huh,
right? And then from there they use that standard to then later on develop more and more standards. Now there's basically two, right? There is the ISO standard, which is generally adopted in Europe,
yeah,
right? They have a maximum storage temperature that's a little bit tighter than, let's say South Texas, right? Or, the Middle East,
mhm,
right? Where storage temperatures can reach above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Whereas in lots of parts in Europe, the they don't reach the 75 degrees. That's the limit in the ISO.
right,
And then a lot of it has to do with the environment. So it's like the temperature is the main factor, the humidity. You don't want the main thing is you don't want your warehouse to ever hit the dew point where you're getting condensation, right? Because that is what will accelerate the life of your seals,
right,
right? And then other stuff like UV light, if you leave a seal out in the sun, it'll quickly eat away at it. Um,
yeah,
the ozone generating devices, like if you have a heavy piece of machinery that's drawing a lot of electrical current,
mhm,
that's going to create like an ozone and it's going to deteriorate the seals as well.
yeah,
So, but generally speaking, it's like they want it to be out of the sun. They want it to be in sealed bags where it's not getting exposed to the air or the other elements. They don't want dust accumulating either. Temperature control and humidity. So it's
yeah, I've seen that those are often referred to in a lot of, customer packaging specs, right, and it kinda lends to the packaging requirements or really storage packaging, right, is really the intent, but it's interesting. We get a lot of questions about there's a lot of questions and a lot of requirements around shelf life, and it seems to be an area, it's like there's a lot of gray in that topic because you have different manufacturers have kinda different claims, I guess, onto what their standard of shelf life is gonna be, and then our customers, it seems like they will also overlay their own requirements for shelf life. If like an HMBR is pretty normally accepted to be 15 years shelf life, a customer may say, "Hey, I only want to receive parts that are up to 50%, shelf life remaining." Right? They don't want any. They don't want us to send something that's on the verge of expiring, basically, right? But that it can makes it pretty challenging on our side to um, well, not necessarily challenging, but you have to be careful with your inventory, right? Because you can have stuff that maybe isn't fully expired, but not any customer wants it because it's so old. So,
yeah. So like shelf life is not seal life, and I think a lot of people they want to make sure that whatever they're selling, especially our customers, right? Because it might sit on their customer shelf for a
mhm,
few years before it ever gets put into service. So that's why they were wanting those, you know, uh, as a distributor for us to comply with a tighter shelf life requirement, right? So then they can install it into theirs and then maybe sit on it for X amount of time before they send it out to the customer.
yeah,
and, they wanna make sure that if they ever do get put into use, that they don't have any kind of failures.
Right. Yeah, it's like, it kinda reminds me of, in engineering school, we learned about the factors of safety, right? And it's like, you can kinda over-engineer a part sometimes because you're putting so many layers of a factor of safety, right? And it's sometimes is a challenge to kinda find that balance of what's safe, but also practical, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of times it's like, if you're not 100% confident, you're just gonna go with, "Well, give me the give me the one that has the most, like, best safety profile," right? Or give me,
Yeah.
um, kind of take out the guesswork in it, right? It's like, "Oh, just give me the best,"
Yeah.
right? I don't want anything that's old, and I don't know why, but just I don't want it, you know?
Newer is always better, right?
Right, right.